So I come from a consulting company. We do boutique consulting for high tech and medicine. We have a different approach. We're not really a tech company. We try and find a hard problem in industry and see if tech can solve it. So it's a little bit of negotiating. And we usually start with the problem and then look for the solution. If people who know diffusion of innovation specialize in the chasm. So this project, our client was Stanford Medicine, and they wanted us to look at AI in medicine, and they wanted us to see if we could make it more equitable, because they felt that the poorest in society weren't getting AI, and they also weren't being represented in the data sets. We came up with the Empulse app. This was our project. It became a tool, and now we want to make it a company in San Antonio. So just talking a little bit about the team, because I'm one person up here. We have scientists and developers. Here are all the scientists from Stanford who are working on the project, and they're doing like formal evaluation of equity. And then here are the developers from my consulting company from all over the world. They're a little bit more delinquent looking, who built the app, the prototype app. So just talking about the problem, I think that in the U.S. we struggle with poverty and homelessness, and when you talk about poverty, there's two different kinds. Absolute is what you see on the top. It's kids in Africa who don't have enough food and malnutrition. But there's also relative poverty, people who are born into a society and can't contribute as equally as everyone else. And that's when we talk about homelessness in the U.S., that's usually what we're talking about. So there's about 500,000 homeless in the U.S. in a single night. About 80,000 of them are chronically homeless, and 35,000 of them are youth, many LGBTQ. When we look at across the U.S., California and Florida are really struggling with this problem, but so is Texas. And we might see an increase as Austin kind of becomes more of a tech hub, just like we saw in Seattle and California when the tech hubs took up. When we're talking about getting out of homelessness, if you can't meet your basic needs, then you're dealing with a lot of fears that prevent you from doing things like contributing to the workforce, etc. There's also the digital divide in our society. If you can't afford a cell phone, how do you go to work? So about 70% of panhandling income goes to meet basic needs, but any organization that works with the homeless will beg you not to give money to panhandlers. Here's a nonprofit in California saying, please don't give money to panhandlers. Here's the Canadian police with a sign to the public, please don't give money to panhandlers. And here's the Wyoming police, and I believe that this gentleman was arrested for public drunkenness with about $300 in his pocket from panhandling. And I think the Wyoming police said it the best. They said, we really just want you to give money to structured solutions, people who can really help. Now, there's problems with that because not all people can access nonprofit services, but even if we were just going to give money to panhandlers, only 41% of Americans carry cash. So we're missing out on a lot of money that could be going to nonprofits and to better solutions. The solution that we had at our company was basically Shazam is like an app. You can walk around, you hear a song you like, you hit the button, then you can buy the app. It's pretty simple, it's very impulsive, it's one way to buy music. So we think that people can buy nonprofit services impulsively. So here's the app, you just hit the button, you set how much you want to give. The minimum is $3 or $1, max is $100. And then you can see the nonprofits within 5 miles, and then you can give money. And it sends it out in a pulse. We pay out to the nonprofits once a year, for close partners once every 4 times a year. And then we'll tell you once you give money how many people are going to get it. If we can't do local, we'll go national. So we're in the App Store. We launched last month, both Google and Android, and we have a website which you're welcome to look at. And now I'm going to talk about where we're at right now. So our business structure is pretty simple. We have the free app out. We want to make a paid app, so $1 for the paid app, which allows you to be more granular about how you donate. We take 1% of all funds in the all purchases made through the app, which is less than PayPal would take. And then our main goal, one of our main metrics is impact. Like, are we actually changing, moving the dial? And because we can look at the geocodes, we can see if the numbers of homelessness in an area go down. About 81% of adults own a smartphone, only 41% carry cash, and even less than that if they're millennial. And there's about 266 million smartphone users. About that much money was, 427 billion was given in the US to nonprofits last year. We think we could increase that. So what I'm asking from the audience is if you know any nonprofits that would want to partner closely with us in San Antonio, I would love to, or Austin, I would love to meet them. If you know anybody in the police department who would want to evaluate the app or be interested in talking about it, I would really appreciate support from the local police. Anybody in city government, same thing. And then if you know of any impact funding, I've just done the whole Austin Accelerator route, and honestly we're not that attractive to VCs because we're not going to make $1 million tomorrow, nor do we intend to. If we made $1 million, we'd be giving out 99% of it. So if you have any questions.